Surprise, it's time to go live. Let me turn this other light on. Oh, that's a little better. So my plan was every day of vacation to do a video. And today I realized about 9:30, I'm like, I'm not going to have a video today. I've started to today. So what I did today was I cut up deer meat, and I cut up this last buck that I shot, and basically I boned out all the meat. When I killed the deer, the night I killed it, I gutted it, I skinned it, and I let it hang overnight. And I shot it Monday evening. So Tuesday morning, I got out there and quartered it up, took all the meat off the bones, and put it in an ice chest. And then I iced it down. I let it set for a couple days. Well, all day Tuesday and today. And then today I got it out. I trimmed up all the back strap and cut up all the meat. Everything that's going to be ground has been cut in little tiny chunks or, long strips. And I'll probably grind it tomorrow. And I took a bunch of the steaks and vacuum sealed them, got them in the freezer. A bunch of the meat, I got the slicer out and I went ahead and sliced a bunch of the meat thin for jerky. So I have, I think I did 7.5 pounds of jerky tonight that I've got marinating. And in the morning, I will take that 7.5 pounds and put it in the dehydrator. And I'll be running the dehydrator tomorrow and probably grinding meat. But anyway, so I've got a sliced jerky video coming out, probably be out tomorrow evening. I took all the bones, the shoulder bones, the leg bones, and I put them in a big roaster pan, and I'm making bone broth. I've never made bone broth before. So I've got a roaster pan full of bone broth going, and from what I've gathered, 12 to 24 to 48 hours is what you need to let bone broth go for. I've never made bone broth. I've never tried bone broth, but everybody that's ever had bone broth is like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. So we're gonna give that a shot. So anyways, I've got a bone broth video going. I've got a sliced deer jerky video going, and I should have them wrapped up in the next couple days. Also tomorrow, I plan on getting out in the yard with a chainsaw and cutting up some of that hickory log that's laid down in my yard, as well as I've got a friend coming over tomorrow. He wants to shoot his rifle at 400 or 500 yards. So I'll probably take a camera along for that trip and we'll do some long range shooting. So I've got a bunch of stuff in the works, but I didn't have a video for today. So that's what made me think, let's just go live. We'll recap. I know it's short notice. I know nobody's paying attention. I know Central Standard Time, it's 9:42. And so I don't think there'll be a lot of you tuning in, but my vow was to do a video every day. So what I thought I would do is recap my season, my deer season. And here's the 10 point. This is the buck that I shot. Today's Wednesday. This is the buck I shot Monday evening. And I don't know, it may legally be an 11 point. I don't know what the rules are. I know it's got to be an inch long. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty close to an inch. So it may be 11 point. I'm calling it a 10 point. But this is the kind of buck that any given year I would be thrilled to death to kill a 10 point like this on my property. I mean, This is about as big as they get. But as you well know, if you've been following the channel, I killed the buck of a lifetime this year on my property, which is this 12 point. And this deer will score in the 180s, the mid 180s. I scored it at 185. So I killed this with a muzzle loader, and it's about 20 and a half inches wide inside spread. The eye guards, as you can see, are about 8 or 9 inches. And the main beams are about 25 inches. So it's a mainframe 10 with kickers on each G2. And so the mass on this deer, I mean, I've never got a buck like this on camera. These just don't grow around here. So anyways, I killed this buck with a muzzle loader. And then I killed this buck with a 243. And any given year, I'd be thrilled to death with this 10 point. And the good Lord has just given me a deer season never to forget. So I killed this with a muzzle loader. I killed the 10 point with a rifle. And now I'm just the full-time guide for my son. Hey, Corey, thanks for coming by. Great bucks this year for sure. Yeah, I've never had a year where I've killed deer like this. I mean, I've killed bigger deer than the 10 point before, but I mean, this is the biggest deer I have ever killed. I've killed some really big deer when we had a lease in Texas and I hunted down there. I killed some big deer in Texas, but this dwarfs them. So really, really, and just blessed to kill something like that in Arkansas and on my own property. You know, that's what really makes it special. To be able to know that kind of deer lived on your own place. So, Mr. Davis, thanks for coming by. So basically, tomorrow you'll probably see a jerky video. That should be dehydrated and ready to eat by tomorrow afternoon. It's marinating overnight. And so what I plan to do is get up first thing in the morning, put the jerky on the dehydrator, and then I'll finish out that video when the jerky comes off the dehydrator and upload that tomorrow night. And then more than likely, Friday, I will do a video on the deer bone broth that I've been making. And like I said, I don't know anything about bone broth. I don't even know if I'll like it, but I know that everyone that is doing bone broth just raves about it, how healthy it is, how great it tastes. So I figured, hey, I got some deer bones. I might as well make some bone broth. So I grabbed some carrots and onions and celery and, you know, just the stuff you make broth out of. And so I jumped on the bandwagon. Robert, thanks for joining in. What country are you hunting in? Or is that what county? What county are you hunting? I'm in Crawford County, Arkansas. And I hunt primarily along the Arkansas River of Crawford County, which if you're not familiar with Arkansas, I'm just north of Fort Smith. And so that's primarily the area I hunt with. You had a great year. Yes, Richard, I did. I've never had a year like this. I've never killed a buck like this. I've never seen a buck like I killed this year. You know, sometimes you'll say, that's the biggest buck I've ever seen. I can say I've killed the biggest buck I've ever seen on the hoof. And honestly, I don't know if I'll ever see one bigger than that. You know, a lot of times when you think about big bucks, you know, you're like, that was a big buck. I can remember just thinking back on some of the deer that I've shot that I thought at the time were really giants. And I thought, man, that's a big deer, you know, or that was really, when I killed it, that was the biggest buck I'd ever seen. This buck here is bigger than anything I've seen prior. And it has the potential of being one of the biggest deer killed in the state of Arkansas. Just, you know, you never know what's going to be killed in Arkansas. Somebody might kill a new state record and I'd be second or third or fourth place. But if you look at the Big Buck Classic which is kind of like a big buck contest that happens in Little Rock in mid to late January. This buck here would have won it last year. It is bigger than last year's buck. And so there's a potential for me to actually win maybe a rifle or something with this deer. And I've never won a big buck contest. Heck, I've never entered a big buck contest, you know? Like I said, that buck, as big as it is, my second deer, this 10-point, this would be a prize deer for me. Any given year, if I'd have saw this deer, if I'd had a deer like this on camera, this would have been the deer I would have been after. So for me to kill this as my second deer and this one as my first deer, like I said, it's just a year like no other. And it's been a great year. And here's the interesting thing. Usually you hear about big bucks and they're bad eating, you know, they're gamey, they taste like an old buck. This big buck that I shot with a muzzleloader is probably the best eaten deer I've ever killed in my life. My wife is not a deer meat eating person. I mean, I sneak deer meat in on her about 3 times a year, and that's about all she wants. And she's eaten this big 12-pointer 3 times. She had it as deer stew, which I did a deer stew video. She had it as a Mexican deer and rice casserole. I did a video on that. She liked that, took it for lunch the next day. And then I served deer chili at church, and she ate that and said it was great. So for her to eat deer meat 3 different ways, 3 times, and like it, this big 12-point is really one of the best eaten deer I've ever killed. The 10-point that I shot this week during gun season, I took some of the backstrap and cut it up and did smothered backstrap with it, and she liked it as well. So actually, these 2 deer have really ate very good. And I say that because deer meat is not something that my family, my wife particularly, really cares for. I grew up with a dad who shot enough deer to feed his family for the year. And so we never had store-bought hamburger meat. We never had chicken. Our chicken was squirrel and rabbit. Our hamburger was deer burger. And we ate deer steak a lot. And so I never grew up eating beef. I remember the first time I had a beef hamburger cooked at somebody's house, not like from McDonald's, but I mean, in someone's home, their mom made a beef hamburger and cooked it, and we ate it. I was at my friend Nathan's house. I was probably in the 3rd grade, and I thought, this is the best hamburger I've ever had at home, period. And the reason was I'd never had nothing but deer meat at home, period. So I say all that to say I grew up eating deer meat. My wife grew up on a cattle farm with 2 chicken houses, and they ate chicken and beef. And so for her to be able to eat 2 old bucks from here, that really says something. And I think the real difference here is not that the meat was great, but here's what happened with both of these deer. I was able to shoot them at night. I quickly gutted them and skinned them, and I let them hang overnight. And then the next day, I went out and I quartered them, cut the meat off, pulled the back straps, and what I did was I iced that meat down. I put it in an ice chest, and I dumped ice right on top of the hams, right on top of the shoulders. And the bigger buck, the 12-point, I couldn't fit him in an ice chest. So what I ended up having to do was some of him went into the fridge. The rest of him stayed in an ice chest. The last buck, all of it fit in an ice chest. And so I let that deer set a day or 2 days in ice. And I let the ice touch the meat. I've never done that before. I've always put them in the fridge or cut them up the same night that I killed them. And I think letting them hang overnight, and I think soaking them in ice water for a day or 2 has really helped the meat with its flavor and kind of got rid of some of the gamey taste. So it's made them both very, very good meat, and I'm excited about it. I've probably got 15 pounds of meat to grind from this last 10 point. And I made 7.5 pounds of jerky. And of course, I put up steaks and stuff like that already in the freezer. So I'm really pleased with the meat that I've got. All right, let me catch up on the comments real quick. How did that 243 do terminally? What bullet did you use? Okay. Mr. Davis, this last deer, the first deer I shot with a muzzleloader, the second deer I shot with a rifle. I hit a limb and end up hitting the deer right in the spine, right below the spine, just blowed the spine up, and I messed up the front part of the back straps. Of course, it's hard to say when you break a deer's spine. I mean, he's not going anywhere. The second bullet, I ended up shooting him twice. The second one I hit right here in between his front legs as he was laying on his side like this. I could see the white of his chest and belly and right in the grass. And so I shot another time up through there. But I use a 100-grain spear bullet with 32 grains of IMR 3031. And I've got a video on that if you want to look at it. I think it's called like the best deer load for 243. And I shoot a Tikka 243 rifle, and I've loaded that for, I think, 3 other Tikkas. And all of the Tikka 243s like that 100-grain spear bullet. Robert, I graduated from Alma. I graduated from Greenwood. We probably played football against each other. So thanks for stopping by. Jeremy Pittman, love your videos. Well, the fact that you guys watch them makes it worth me recording because what I enjoy about the videos is really the interaction. When I upload a video, the first thing I want to do is start replying to comments. And I honestly try to reply to every comment that's ever made on a video. But YouTube, at times I will reply and the reply don't go through, or I don't get the notification that somebody's commented. So it's not foolproof, but in all seriousness, Jeremy, I really, really enjoy the interaction of YouTube. That's what makes it fun. If they ever took away my ability to comment and reply, I probably wouldn't enjoy making the videos as much as I do. Richard asked, are you having both of them mounted? And the answer is yes. I wasn't going to have the 10-point mounted. I've killed bigger deer than this that I do not have mounted. And I'm not the kind of guy that just wants to mount every decent buck I kill, but this was a really pretty 10-point. It was kind of the cap off of a really good year. And just the deer itself, it has a double throat patch. In other words, all whitetails have white under their chin and coming down on their neck. This deer has white under his chin, coming down his neck, and then you skip about 3 inches, and he's got another white patch on further down on his neck. So that's not like rare, but it's not common either. So he's got a really pretty cape. He's a really pretty deer, and he just happened to coincide with the best year I've ever had. So everybody was like, you need to have him mounted. So I was like, okay, I'll have him mounted. You don't have to twist my arm. Preacher live again. Yes, K24. I couldn't get a video posted today. I've got 2 in the works. I said this earlier. I've got a video going that I'm waiting till tomorrow, till I have all the jerky dehydrated. I'll have a deer jerky video up tomorrow, and I should have a deer bone broth video up on Friday or Saturday. I've never made bone broth before. I don't even know if I'll like it. Excuse me, but it is all the rage these days, and So I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring and make some bone broth. Real American Hobbies channel. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you stopping by, Mr. Davis. I think the two mounted together is a great idea. Your grandkids will be amazed at your skills. Yeah. Like I said, I've killed bigger deer than this 10-point that I don't have mounted. I actually have 11-point in there that's probably bigger than this that I didn't mount. I've got another 10 that's probably bigger than this I didn't mount. But it's important to me that I killed it on my own property, and I killed it, it was my second buck tag of the year after the biggest deer of my life. And it's a pretty deer. A lot of times you kill a big deer and it's not pretty. My taxidermist killed a really whopper 8-point. He was showing me the rack the other day when I took the cape down there to him, and but it's ugly. I mean, it's like one rack goes this way and then the other one goes this way. And I mean, it's really big, but it just doesn't match. And this 10-point is so symmetrical. I just feel like, I've got to have it done. Rodney Putman, isn't it great to be part of the brotherhood? Rodney and I used to work together I worked out there for probably a little over 6 years. We need to get together. We need to get together. I don't know how we're going to do that, but next time you're off, I don't know if you're on first of the week or end of the week or still working out there or what, but somehow let me know how we can get together where we can meet. And I'd like to catch up with you. Rodney's a great hunter himself, and I used to work with him. But yeah, just in 1 year, if somebody would have told me, hey, in 1 year, you're going to kill 22 points worth of horns, I would have been like, no way, it's not possible. And here I've done it. I've killed a 12-point and a 10-point in the same year, one with a muzzleloader, one with a gun. In any given year, this right here would have been the highlight of my year, and I would have been thrilled to get it. But to do it after you kill one like this is just, like I said, it's just unreal. And so I took a week of vacation, and the main reason was I wanted to hunt. I didn't think I would see a 10-point. I mean, just to be honest with you, I didn't have that deer on any of my trail cameras. I don't know where he came from. I'm sure somebody was probably hunting him, probably had him on their camera, and he just vanished, and they don't know where he went. Well, he walked in front of me with a loaded rifle during gun season. That's about all I can say. So I took this week of vacation, and my plan was to try to do a video each day and to hunt every day. And I did hunt Saturday morning and evening. Sunday, I took it off. I went to church. I went to church with a friend of mine. I did a video on that. And then Monday, I went to hunting again. And I really expected to hunt all week and not really see a deer that I really wanted to shoot. I just kind of thought I'd spend a week and just kind of sitting in the woods. And to see that 10-point like I did, and to get a crack at him and kill him, just kind of ended my hunting season. My son has been hunting here by our home. He's been hunting in the box stand. If you followed the channel, he's been hunting in the box stand that I rebuilt, and he's seen a couple of 3 deer from there. And so my plan is just to kind of encourage him and help him find a decent deer to kill. And tomorrow, I've got this deer pretty much processed. All I've got to do is grind meat. Everything's boned out. Most of it's frozen or ready to be dehydrated and made into jerky. And so all I really have to do tomorrow is grind some meat and cut some firewood. That's pretty much it. So always enjoy the hunt. Rodney, we really need to get together. I don't know, send me a message on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, go to Preacher's Day Off. Send me your phone number or something. We'll try to get together. Will, hey Will, thanks for coming by. It's good to see you this evening. Got one with my 20 gauge Remington 1187. Dropped her in the tracks. Next shot. I've only killed one deer with a shotgun in my life, and I'll never forget it. It was a 7-point. We were making a drive, and I had my cousin Michael Johnson was with me. We were in Chaffee. It was the gun permit hunt. And we'd had a bad morning. He had locked his keys in his truck. His stand broke. It was just an awful day. When we finally got his truck unlocked, we met up with my dad and some uncles who were just starting a deer drive. And we were like, hey, we want to get in on it. So we lined up. And I probably didn't walk 10 yards. And a 7-point got up right in front of me. And I had buckshot in there. And so it was running straight away, and I was buckshot, and just boom, I shot, and it was tall grass. And I could just see rack and butt. And I shot, and that deer rolled and got up. And when he got up, he shot to my right. So I shot again, and he rolled. And then Michael, my cousin, he was off to my right. He shot, and I saw hair fly. And then he ran in between us. And so neither one of us shot because, we'd be shooting at the other. When he got past us, I shot again and rolled him. He jumped up. Michael shot again. That was like his second shot. And then I shot again. I mean, this deer ran like a half circle around me. I ended up hitting him with 3 loads of buckshot and a slug. And Michael hit him with 2 loads of buckshot. And I mean, that deer was plastered. Well, it seems like he had a tine broken. His tail was broke off because I was shooting straight away. And he had buckshot pellets in him from one end to the other. But that was the only deer I ever killed with shotgun. And man, was it ever fun. I'll never forget that. Never, ever forget that. And but I see guys, like you were saying, with your 20 gauge, I see guys hunting where they only have shotguns are legal, and only slugs are legal. And I know a lot of guys can really get some accuracy out of a 20 gauge slug gun. Cut the antlers off, and you can see the brains. Yeah. I usually give the brains to my dog. I shake them out of the skull plate, and Champ usually likes to lick and eat the brains. Best time of the day is when there is no shadows in the woods. 20 foot closer to God. That's right, Rodney. That's right. I'm in a shotgun muzzleloader bow area only. I understand that, Will. And I was shooting in you said something about double up buck. The shotgun I had back then just shot 2 3/4, and I was shooting double up buck. So it was 9 pellets. The funny thing was that 7-point that I killed that day, when he got up and was running straight away from me, he had pellet holes in the back of his neck. I didn't hit his spine and break him, but I hit him in the back of the neck, and it rolled him. And then when he went sideways, I had a pattern of buckshot that was about 6.5 inches across, right on his shoulder. And then I had another round of buckshot about 6 inches around, right behind his shoulder. Michael, my cousin on the other side, he was further away from the deer than me. So he had like a pellet in the shoulder and a pellet in the hip and a pellet in the gut. Whereas I was close enough, I was getting like 9 pellets in a 6-inch circle. And that deer would have died after the first 2 shots were fired. But anytime a deer jumps up and takes off running within 15, 20 yards of you, and you got a shotgun and some buckshot, you keep shooting. And I wish the deer would have just stayed down, but he kept getting up. So all in all, I shot him 4 times. I think Michael shot him twice. And man, it was just one of those days where everything was wrong, and you took about 15 steps into a deer drive, and everything went right. And that's the thing about hunting. You can have your worst day, and in 15 seconds, you can go from your worst day of hunting to your best day of hunting, depending on what steps out in front of you. So Yeah, I understand being in the shotgun muzzleloader only area, bow only area. Um, if I lived there, I would be like you. I would find a shotgun that I could pattern slugs with. I'd find some slugs and I'd go at it. Let me see here. Dual band sabot slugs are accurate. Yeah. 3-inch chamber, sabot, yeah, 2 3/4, not as accurate. Yeah, that's the key nowadays. You know, when I say I did this was like 91 or 2. 3-inch shotguns were not common, you know. Everybody pretty much shot 2 3/4, whether it was 20 gauge or 12 gauge. Now, 3 3.5s are common. Back then they were not. And now Michael had a 3-inch. My cousin, he had a 3-inch, but I had a 2 3/4 870 Wingmaster. It's what I was shooting. Well, I'm not planning on going very long. It's been 30 minutes. If you got a comment, a question, something you wanted me to clarify, maybe in a video I wasn't clear about, now's the time if you want to leave a comment real quick. I figured I'd go 30 minutes, and here we are at 31 minutes. So deer season's over for me. I could shoot does, but no more deer meat than we eat. And my son's still hunting, and 2 bucks in the freezer. Potentially, if he kills 1 or 2, 2 or 3 more, I don't really see any need for me to shoot a doe. And so this is probably all the deer hunting I'm going to do. From now on, it'll be duck hunting. I haven't duck hunted in probably 5 years, duck or goose hunted in 5 years. And I plan on doing that. And mainly because I want to do some duck cooking videos. And the only way you can cook them is to go out and kill them. Hey, Rodney, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down. Well, that's a hard one to remember. I'll give you a holler tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be able to get away. But I'll holler at you. We'll get together. I think about when I worked out at Beckert and just our conversations about hunting and different things. I remember you killing that 5-legged 3-point and just stuff like that. I was like, I've always wondered, where you were at. And that's the great thing about YouTube, man. You run into people you never met before. You run into old friends. Funny thing is, I met my childhood pastor through YouTube. I didn't know where he was at. But when I was a little kid, like 2 or 3 years old, he was the pastor of our church. We met through reloading videos on YouTube. So, like I said, for me, it's the interaction of the people. Robert, my cousin, Clay Warnock, had a buck come running it by, and we shot 8 shots of buckshot at it. Poor deer was full of lead. Yeah, that happens, man. That happens. If you've ever watched guys like Big Pencil Outdoors, he's in South Carolina. They do a lot of deer dog drives and dog hunting, and they carry shotguns more often than not. I always carried a rifle. Even when we made drives, I carried a rifle with a scope. And I shot a lot of deer running with a rifle and a scope. But in thick brush, shotgun and buckshot really do a number on them. And I like watching Big Pencil Outdoors. I like watching Bubba Roundtree Outdoors. They also do a lot of drives, shoot a lot of buckshot. And buckshot, if you've got good patterns, buckshot is a lethal load. I'll text you, Rod. I'll text you tomorrow. If I've got some free time and can take off tomorrow, I'll text you. I got a guy coming by to shoot his rifle long range. My parents are coming by. But yeah, I want to try to text you and meet up with you because I ain't talked to you in a while. It'd be good to catch up. Model 12 3-inch duck gun. Yeah. I've got a 3-inch Wingmaster that I've had since 94. And man, I've shot that thing so many times. You pull the trigger and it practically pumps itself. But yeah, I plan on doing some duck hunting this year. I've got a few spots that Ramsey Country. Hey. So what the second buck score? I don't really know. I'll show it to you. I would venture to say 120-ish. Just guessing. I'd have to put a tape to it. But in my area, 15, 16-inch 10-point walks out, you pull the trigger. That's just pretty much par for the course.
Word.
What's up?
Nothing.
My boy just come in from work.
Yeah, you're flexing?
Yeah, I'm in here flexing my table muscle.
Yeah, I can see. You haven't been hitting the gym all week.
Nope, been hunting. Got to quit working out long enough to fill the freezer.
Side by side everywhere you go. It's not like you're actually working.
Somebody's got to keep meat on the table. You're not doing it.
Not yet. I'm getting there.
All right. You're 19. You think you know it all and rule the world.
I do know it all.
I know how to push buttons. All right. Now, if you got a question, comment, smart remark, now's your chance. Where was I at? I don't really know. I don't even know if I'd score him. I just guess him at 120. 16 inches, 10 pretty points, probably 8, 9-inch G2s, 8, 9-inch G3s, short eye guards, not a lot of mass. Yeah, I'd probably say 120, something like that. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. Yeah, that probably helps. Austin, thanks for coming by. You was about to go to bed. Stay up for a few minutes. Yeah, you ought to stay up for a few minutes. Now that I got internet at the house, I may go live, once a week. But the main reason I went live tonight is because my deer jerky video won't be done till tomorrow, and my deer bone broth video won't be done until Friday. So I didn't have a video to upload, and that was my goal this week. Rain, let's see. K24 YouTube is cool that way for sure. Yeah, how would we have ever met any other way, K24, other than YouTube? It's just been a good way to put me in touch with other people. 1187 loaded with 3-inch double-aught. That's a way to go. That's a good load. Neighbors hunting with dogs ran across my land. 2 of them would not leave me. One is my side 4-wheeler. Yeah. Here, dog hunting there's still a handful of people that do it in our area. And I'm not anti-dog hunting, but if you don't have enough land to run dogs on, you shouldn't be running dogs. In other words, you've got 10 acres, you turn your dogs loose, you know that deer don't stay on 10 acres. So your dogs are running, 4 property owners over are running dogs. And the way the Arkansas laws read, you are responsible for your dogs. So if your dogs get caught on somebody else's property, you can get fined for trespassing. And so that kind of slowed down the dog hunting and limited it more toward national forest and big tracts of land, which is where dog hunting should be done. What was happening was people were pulling up in big tracts of private land, turning their dogs loose on the road and letting these dogs run through people's private land and run the deer off in the national forest. And man, that's not right. Somebody's out there with food plots and and box stands and managing deer, and you just try to run them over on the national forest. That's not right. I'm not for that. I'm against that. So I'm all for dog hunting. You just need to do it where dog hunting, where you can run your dog without running it across a bunch of private land. Because I've had dogs run across my land. I've had dogs run deer off on my own land, and due to the nature of YouTube, I won't tell you what happened to those dogs. West Covina Dodge, man, thanks for coming by. He still has a tag. I call in sick. I don't have any tags. My son has a couple of buck tags, and they're his, and I'm not going to touch them. I'm done. I'm allowed 2 bucks in Arkansas. I got 2 good ones. I'm pleased. Best year I could have ever had. We got bucks about 200 to 250, but this is in Canada. Yeah. Canada grows them big. This bigger buck that I shot with a muzzleloader, I wish I had scales to weigh him, but just going by just what I see, I mean, this deer was over 200 pounds live weight. And I've never seen a deer that big around here, just body size, fat, just overall size. Calvin's Corner 72, man, thanks for coming by. I'm still waiting on some doe killing videos. I know doe season's coming up in Georgia, but I know you've whacked some already, and I want to see some Calvin's Corner 72 doe in the Dutch oven video. I want to see doe killing and then doe cooking. How about that, Calvin? I had a couple of dogs come in where I shot a doe last week, like 30 minutes before, and they didn't kill my hunt. No, that's true. Dogs can come in and go, and deer can show up later. My problem is when you have 7 or 8 deer in a field, and they're feeding in a food plot, and 9 dogs come running in from a guy that's running deer dogs that doesn't own any property and is nowhere near public land, and he just turns loose deer dogs on private land, hoping that one of them runs by him somewhere else. That, in my opinion, that's just disturbing our hunt. That's disturbing our land. And the laws of Arkansas state that you're responsible for your dog. So if your dog's on private land, you can be charged with trespassing. Now, look, here's what happens. A lot of times in our area, people will collect dogs right before hunting season. I mean, stray dogs. I live out in the country. Okay. I'm in the county. There's no leash laws. People in town have a dog that has puppies and they don't want them. What they do is they drive out here where I live and they just turn them loose and dump them and leave them for us to clean up and care for. And I'm not into taking in stray dogs. Now, a lot of people will gather up these dogs, and here's what they'll do with them. They'll feed them, and about deer season, they'll turn them loose and hope they run something over the top of them. And so this happens a lot, is you will get packs of stray dogs around deer season just running wild, starved, half starved to death. And, living out in the country, I've called the county sheriff. County sheriff says, we're not dog catchers. You deal with it. So I have to deal with it. I won't tell you what I do. You can figure it out. Ramsey Country. Dog hunting has its place, and I'm not anti-dog hunting. I like to hear a good race, but go somewhere where you're not running it over somebody's property who's been feeding those deer all year, passing them up, trying to let them get big, and then you turn your dogs loose and run them over over on the public land and kill them. That's not right. You've used your dog as a driver to clean out somebody's public property. Calvin, drop a video. I mean, I like a good old doe hunting video. Just because I killed a couple of good bucks one year don't mean you shouldn't be posting doe killing videos. I'm not anti doe killing. I've got doe killing videos on my channel. I'm proud of. I had a neighbor that had a lot of land. Another person, dogs, yeah, once. James Pollard, thanks for coming by. Did you carve out some racks? Yeah, James, I got them both here. I'm going to get them both mounted eventually, but there's the big 12 I got with a muzzleloader, and then there's the 10-point I got with a gun the other day. Normally, I've said this like 3 times now, I'd be tickled to death to kill a buck like this any given year at my place. So to kill a great buck and then a buck of a lifetime in the same year, just don't happen. Wildcats are also bad. You know, I've only seen one bobcat over here, and I've only got, and I run about 3 to 4 game cameras during the hunting season, and I've only got 2 or 3 over the last 5 years, only 2 or 3 videos of a bobcat. So bobcats aren't a real issue. For us, it's coyotes, and the coyotes' main threat is during fawn season, and I really think coyotes do hurt our fawn crop. There's no dog hunting in Ohio, only for raccoons and coyotes. Yeah, I mean, dog hunting's a tradition in Arkansas, and I've killed deer in front of dogs. And I'm not anti-dog hunting. Like I said, my problem with dog hunting is you don't own any land and you turn your dogs loose on a road in front of private land, knowing full well that you're running private land deer, hoping that they make it over on the public land where you can shoot them. That's no different than you just trespassing on somebody's land, doing a deer drive, shooting deer off their land. It's not fair. I got one coyote later found their den. Yeah, you could smell it. Yeah, I used to kill. One year I killed over 20 coyotes. And one of the farmers down here, he got mad at them, and he killed about, I think he said 22 or 23 the same year. I killed about 20. And I'll be honest with you, we've always had coyotes, but we've never had them like that since. I think we kind of knocked them back that year. The year he killed 23 and I killed 21, I think. Gone wildcats, yeah, feral cats. I had bobcats in my camera out behind my house this year. Man, well, they probably smelt your Dutch oven cooking, Calvin. They probably smelt you with some ribs on the grill, and they's coming in close. Mr. Ingram, thanks for stopping by. Had a dog chase off a couple deer on our property today. Yep. Have also had a pack run through the other day. Can only put up with it for so long. You live in the same county as me, and I've called the county sheriff, and the county sheriff says, look, if you catch the dogs on your property, catch them, call the game warden. The person that owns the dogs gets a trespassing ticket. But the county says we're not dog catchers. You live in a county, there's no leash law. If they're causing a problem, handle it. That's what they told me. Handle it. I said, so by handle it, and they said, yeah, whatever you need to do, handle it. So, you know, if this was somebody's pet dog, I wouldn't treat them this way. But if this thing looks half starved and nobody's taking care of it, I'm doing the most merciful thing that can be done. Because the path that dog is headed in is not going to be enjoyable for him. Hey, Kyle, thanks for coming by. I love you too. I've got your 203 grain bullets. Golly, where are they at? They're right here. I've had these sitting here. I'm gonna put these. I'm gonna run these through the blackout with my suppressor. Kyle cast me and sent me some 203 grain 30 caliber bullets for my 300 blackout. And now that I've got a suppressor, he sent me some that were purple and some that have gold dust on them. Those are for unicorns. I'm going to try to get some of those loaded, maybe Friday before I get around to it. But I'm going to try to run some of those through the suppressor and see how they do, Kyle. One-eyed hippie. Man, we need to get together. Give the dog some of your sardines and mustard. Me and the one-eyed hippie used to work together, used to be on the same deer lease. Some of the best times I ever had was he and I running around on the Black Bottom lease, running up in Grandma's flat, putting up deer feeders. I'm telling you, there was more bobcats on that lease than any other place I've ever been in my life. Man, that was some good times. Real good times. All right. Look, we've been going at this for 51 minutes. I was going to do 30 minutes. Let's call it an hour. You got 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes. If you got a question, you got a comment, you got a smart remark, you just want to brag on how manly I look, whatever it is, now's your chance. Get it in there. If we don't get some comments, we'll shut this thing down. It was just kind of last minute. Like I said, I got 2 videos in the works. One of them is deer jerky, sliced deer jerky. It's marinating in the fridge. It'll be done tomorrow. Another one, I'm making deer bone broth. It'll be done on Friday. Got some long range shooting to do with my buddy Ryan tomorrow, and may try to get out there and cut up some of that hickory log. I've got this wonderful. Oh man, I was trying to carve some wooden spoons this week. Y'all don't laugh. Hey, don't laugh. Ready? Don't laugh. I carved a spatula. Now this is just with a hatchet, and I've got a carving knife I'm gonna clean it up with tomorrow. But I got me a little scraping spatula. Check it out. I'm trying to carve a spoon. Now I just kind of roughed it out with a hatchet out of a hickory log. This started out as a piece, big old chunk of hickory log. I'm gonna hollow that out. I may do that tomorrow. Depends on how much time I have. I don't know how much time I'm gonna have tomorrow. Here's me a big soup spoon, as you can see there. Chop that out with a hatchet. Tomorrow I'm gonna try to hollow that out and try to clean it up. It got a lot of tomahawk marks in it. And then I've got the spatula. There's just a kind of a boomerang looking, for stirring around. And then it kind of looks like a fish if you do it like that, because it's got a knot right there. So I don't know if I'll have time to fool with any of that tomorrow or Friday. That's on the agenda. Questions, comments, smart remarks. Possum salt. Good night, Will. Killing those 2 bucks this season. There's no doubt you are the man. Hey, the good Lord bless me. I'm an average hunter and an average shot, and I'm not real smart. I barely escaped high school, but God put them right in front of me, and he blessed me with a couple of good bucks. Kyle, possum salt. Actually, I have all of the stuff to do possum salt, except I'm waiting on the shaker containers, and they're back ordered because of COVID. And I'm going to do a video probably in the next week or 2. I'm going to give out the secret to possum salt. I'm going to show all my measurements. I'm going to show all the ingredients, and I'm going to make a double batch of possum salt in the next 2 weeks. And because I'm going to give it out for Christmas, I'm just waiting on the shaker containers to mail them out for Christmas gifts. So be ready for that. Hey, preacher, you ever cook salmon patties? I do cook salmon patties. I'm not great at it, but I've got a couple cans of salmon in there, and I need to use them up. But my salmon patties are not great. Keep baby wipes in your truck. You got that right. One out, hippie. Oh, man. Sometimes it hits you, you know. You got no choice. That's why they call it a nature call. One of my last videos was shooting a golf ball at 615 yards. One shot, one time. Yeah. You're a better man than me. Way better man than me. Sweet spoons. I really think with a little time, and I went and bought a gouge where I can kind of hollow them out. And it just takes time, and I don't know if I've got it. I had to run and meet a buddy of mine today, the basketball ref. You might have seen some fishing videos with he and I. I ran and met him in town. He works for the water department, and they had taken out a lead tap, an old piece of lead pipe. And so I scored some lead today to cast some sinkers and some bullets. And I had to get some more vacuum seal bags. And anyways, I just spent a whole bunch of time in town. And then I got the deer boned out and started 2 videos, and I don't know what all I'll get done tomorrow. How'd you get so good at making spoons? I got a hatchet off my brother, which is like a Smith & Wesson hatchet. It's a piece of junk. And I just tomahawked on them on the front porch until I got the right shape I wanted. Is that table muscle? This is table muscle right here. This is a camel hump for a deer killing machine. And it looks like fat now, but when gun season rolls around, it turns into whitetail killing machine. How far are you shooting tomorrow, and what gun? My buddy's coming over to shoot a 280 Remington, and I think he wants to shoot it at 500 yards just to get his bullet drop down. He's going, Oklahoma season starts Saturday. He's going out to Oklahoma, so he just wants to kind of get some dope for his gun. I probably won't even shoot. I may take my 22-250 or something like that, monkey around, but basically just going to go down there with him and let him do some shooting. He needs a place to stretch it out. Free lead is the best lead. Yes, free lead is the best lead. I told him, and there's several guys in the water department that take the lead. Some of them resell it, and some of them make sinkers and stuff. And I said, man, if you ever get any more lead pipe, just holler at me. I mean, I'll pay you in sinkers, or I'll pay you in bullets, or I'll load you some ammo, whatever you want. I said, I'll make it right, but I need the lead. Willie the Bullet Man sent me a 223 55 grain bullet mold, a 6-cavity bullet mold. So now I've got the ability to cast bullets. I just need to get out there and get cracking, get it started, and sooner or later I'll get around to that. 280, great caliber. I think it's a 280. Heck, it may be a 284. I'm not sure. Ramsey, I'm really not sure what he's got. I just know he's got a gun, and he said the field that he's sitting in is a little over 400 yards across, and he wants to know about where his bullet drop is. So we're going to go try to figure that out tomorrow. Supposed to get down to 25 tonight. Well, that'd be nice. We really haven't had a hard frost. Monday morning, if you saw my video where I killed the 10 point, You saw how cloudy it was, how foggy it was. We had a frost that morning, but it wasn't like a hard freeze. It was just kind of a spotty frost. Even here at my house, I live in the timber, and the timber holds in a lot of heat, believe it or not. And so you may get a frost out in the pasture, but you don't get a frost here in the woods. And so I've still got jalapenos hanging on my jalapeno plant out in the garden. And I could go out there and pick them. I'm just waiting on a freeze to go get them. And so far, there's no threat of a hard freeze. 280 Win is the one of the 7 millimeters great chamber. Yeah, I'm not really sure what Ryan's got. I just know he's bringing it over tomorrow. 31 here in Ohio now. I wish we had some cold weather. I really, really do. Wanted to drop in and show some love. Got to hit the rack. I understand, Kyle. I'm fixing to hit the rack myself. We've been going at it an hour, guys. Let me just wrap this thing up. Austin, you're going to be the last question. I'll be the first frost this year. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Let me show you my deer horns one more time. I'm proud of both of them. I got my little 10-point, which would normally be my big 10-point. Then I've got the 12-point that I got with a muzzleloader. And, what a year, huh? Never, ever have a year where I killed 2 deer like this. I never have a year where I killed 2 like this. So just wanted to recap that, crank out a video, answer some questions. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's been great. I appreciate all of you watching the channel. Appreciate you commenting. Comment on any of the videos. You got any questions? Just hit me up. I try to answer every single comment. I try to respond to every single person. You guys are the reason I do this. I enjoy you. I enjoy visiting with you. And thank you for tuning in the video. And I'll see you on the next one. Next video you see from me, more than likely, barring something drastic happening tomorrow, probably be a deer jerky video. See you guys on the next one.